It's the dream of every cricketer, the ultimate glory. Few manage to keep their date with destiny. But for many, it's been heartbreaks and a cross to bear. The Holy Grail is here in India. I'm Rupha Ramani and Firstpost brings you the ringside view. We bring you the Cup of Dreams. Cricket World Cup coverage like never before.
The champion! It's over! He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net. Nice one. Straight down the middle. So a good performance.
It's the final week of the Cricket World Cup, but more importantly, it's T-1 to the first of the two semi-finals. I am here in Mumbai finally. It's one of my favorite cities in the country and it's a vibrant one. It's always buzzing, energetic and frenetic throughout the day, whether it's early morning walks along this beautiful marine drive or late night crawls along the many pubs and restaurants that dot the city. Truly, Mumbai never sleeps. And that's how it's going to be right from today up to tomorrow when India takes on New Zealand at the Wankhede Stadium. This entire city will be alive and buzzing. I'm Rupha Ramani and I'm going to build up to all that excitement right here on Firstpost. India and New Zealand, these are two strong cricket countries with a rich legacy. But when it comes to ODI World Cups, both find themselves at opposite ends of the spectrum. At one end, you have India, two-time World Cup champions in 1983 and 2011. And then at the other end is New Zealand, two-time runners-up in 2015 and 2019. In fact, 2019 would be bittersweet, bitter memories for India, in fact, where New Zealand put aside India in the semi-final of the 2019 edition. So this is a rematch of that. So you can almost sense that nervous energy here ahead of that encounter because even though India did beat New Zealand in Dharamshala in this edition, this is the semi-final. It can go any way and there are a lot of key battles, mini head-to-heads to watch out for. And there's lots to watch out for in this show as well. But before all that, let's take a quick look at all the headlines from the world of sports in Sports 360. In football, Cristiano Ronaldo has taken charge on the training ground. He led Portugal as the team braces to face Liechtenstein in round 9 of the Euro 2024 qualifier. Roberto Martinez's team remain undefeated in Group J with 8 consecutive wins and 24 points. Uruguay's record goal scorer is back in the squad. Luis Suarez received his first call-up under new coach Marcelo Bielsa. The 36-year-old is expected to cast his magic when Uruguay face Argentina on November 17th in a 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifier. In badminton, India's Satvik Sairaj Rankireddy and Chirag Shetty crashed out of the Japan Masters. The Indian duo lost 21-16, 18-21, 16-21 to their Chinese Taipei counterparts. The match lasted for just over an hour. In tennis, Alexander Zverev got off to a winning start in his ATP Finals campaign by battling back from a set down to beat Carlos Alcaraz. Zverev, the two-time winner at the year-ending tournament, put on a powerful display to see off world number 2 Alcaraz. Wimbledon champion Alcaraz has not been on top form after returning from injury at the end of last month. And in the NBA, Boston Celtics triumphed against the New York Knicks after a nail-biting thriller. Jason Tatum scored 35 points, steering the Celtics to a 114-98 victory. Jaylen Brown contributed with 21 points. Now, the last time India played New Zealand, we all remember that, it happened in Dharamshala India, of course, got the better of New Zealand in that encounter, but it was coming on the back of a lot of expectations to be a closely fought one. There were a few key performances from both the sides in that particular face-off. For New Zealand, we really can't forget that scintillating 100 by Daryl Mitchell. He had a very, very good partnership with Rachin Ravindran, who missed out on 100, but Daryl Mitchell stuck on to really provide a key spark for that New Zealand performance. For India, the standout destructor-in-chief was none other than the man who was making his World Cup debut for this edition, Mohammad Shami, with a stunning fifer. We really couldn't forget that one. It got India over the line. Of course, Virat Kohli was there to make a bit of his mark as well, scored a 50 in that run chase. But we always talk about New Zealand having India's number when it comes to crunch knockout matches. So yes, it is going to be talent versus talent, skill versus skill, strategy versus strategy, bat versus ball. But more than anything, it'll be mind versus mind. Who is going to hold their nerve when it comes to that knockout game? Let's see how this match stacks up.
Fasten your seatbelts for the first semi-final clash of the ICC 2023 World Cup between India and New Zealand. Beyond the usual hustle and bustle in the lanes of Mumbai, now lies tense anticipation and whispers of excitement. There's a bit of history riding behind the two teams on this encounter. If you ask any ardent cricket fan about the match, they'll say it's going to be a rematch of the 2019 World Cup semi-final when New Zealand beat Virat Kohli's side at Old Trafford. Will the Kiwis ride on that high and deploy the same tactic, or will Rohit Sharma complete his unfinished business? Here's a look at the head-to-head ODI World Cup stats. The two sides have faced each other on 10 occasions. India have won 4 matches, whereas New Zealand have triumphed 5 times. And 1 match was called off and ended without a result. The two teams head to the semi-final for the second time. The previous one was in the 2019 edition of the tournament, where India suffered a heartbreaking defeat at the hands of the Kiwis. But the story this time could be different. India's top order, stung by that memory, comes in with renewed hunger, with new faces, refined strategies and lessons learnt from the past. The pitch at Wankhede Stadium is known to be a batter's paradise. When India played Sri Lanka at the same venue, it set up a mammoth target of 358 runs. Even the match between South Africa and Bangladesh was a high-scoring one, with the Proteas posting 382. So batters will certainly capitalize and exploit the conditions. India have topped the charts at the group stage this year. For the Kiwis, it has been a rather roller coaster slope. They were the last team to have made it through to the top 4, whereas India qualified in just their initial 7 games. But it's also true that India has never won against the Kiwis in a knockout game at any ICC event so far. The beauty of this clash also lies in the individual standout performances. All eyes will be on Virat Kohli, the top run-getter in the World Cup. Then comes Rachin Ravindra from the Kiwi side, the new breakout star, the biggest revelation of this World Cup. He's trailing behind Kohli and has amassed 565 runs in 9 innings. The lethal bowlers who could be a threat to the batters are Jasprit Bumrah, India's highest wicket-taker at the World Cup. Trent Boult and Lockie Ferguson will lead New Zealand's pace unit to create early disruptions and break that strong Rohit Gill opening duo. Then there are these individual duels that will play out, adding to the momentum of the entire match. One such mini encounter would be when Rachin faces Mohammad Shami. Trent Boult, who's been part of the Mumbai Indians franchise alongside Rohit Sharma, will be raring to go against his former IPL captain. And then there are teammates across borders too, Mitchell Santner and Ravindra Jadeja. Both such similar profiles will also be battling it out to see who gets the upper hand. It's these mini face-offs that should make this contest an exciting one. Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai will be buzzing in anticipation for an epic encounter.
Now, on this entire coverage of the Cup of Dreams here on Firstpost, we've been giving you a 360-degree perspective of different aspects of the Indian team. And rightfully so, they have been the most dominant side in this World Cup. And they've outplayed almost every opponent here, whether it's their fiery bowling unit or their batters who've been piling on runs just for fun. But we're here at the City of Dreams, and today we need to speak about one man, who's had a bit of a dream run. The captain of the Indian cricket team, the man who's wearing the crown of thorns, Rohit Sharma. He's a local boy and rightfully so owns this particular city. Now, when we speak about Rohit Sharma, there are a couple of aspects to him. One, of course, is his captaincy. There's a bit of a laid-back nature to Rohit, the captain. He seems unperturbed by what's happening around him, and that sort of translates to the entire team as well. And it also is significant going by the choices he makes, and he seems to back them. For example, giving Shreyas Iyer the kind of run that he's got. Despite lack of form, despite inconsistent knocks and coming back from injury, he persisted with Shreyas and it's paid off. That's the art of captaincy that he's brought to it. And the different tactics, the strategies that he's employed, we'll speak about that too. And the other aspect, which has been a bit of a revelation for us and we've enjoyed it so much, Rohit, the batter. Now, we know him to be the hitman of sorts. We saw it in the 2019 World Cup. But this edition, we've seen him play a different sort of a role. We'll highlight that aspect as well. A World Cup at home is different. A World Cup in India is not like any other World Cup. There is immense pressure on the Indian team because there's a hope of 1 billion people just following those 11 men that take the fields every single time. So while venues and stadiums get sold out and it's jam-packed with hordes of supporters cheering you on, all that comes with that rider of expectation and a constant reminder that India hasn't won an ODI World Cup since 2011. Hasn't won an ICC tournament since 2013. Rohit doesn't have an ICC World Cup to his name, an ICC ODI World Cup to his name. And there is that awareness. So while there is hunger and passion to achieve that dream, to resort to all those chants that keep saying, bring back that World Cup trophy, there is that keenness without desperation. So while Rohit Sharma at that very first press conference of the World Cup tournament says there is unfinished business, he follows it up calmly by saying, it'll be nice to win a World Cup. That's what the Mumbai-ness in him that comes through. There isn't that I am the decision maker, the captain of the team that comes through. It's more, it's softened by all the humor, the wit, the casualness that he brings in all of his press conferences. So yes, while there is an eye on the future, he's very much focused on the present.
You know, you want to win the World Cup. It's the biggest prize that you can have in your career. But again, there's a way to do it. There's a procedure that you need to follow. The method in the madness, if you may. You cannot get way too ahead of yourself because that can lead into something that you don't really wish for. And then obviously, we have to leave a lot of things to the Almighty because we need that little bit of luck in the tournament. I hope we get that. But yeah, it'll be nice to win a World Cup.
Now, whenever we speak about Mumbai or even visit it, or even think about it, there's one thing that comes to mind immediately about how it's very fast-paced, it's buzzing, it's active. The city is alive 24/7. There's a lot of fast foods like the vada pav. But there's no time to savor it because everyone is constantly on the move. It's a city that's of unparalleled speed. People are moving from point A to point B. They're always trying to hustle and bustle and get to the next destination on time. That's pretty much what the city characterizes. But it's a very large-hearted city, pretty much like Rohit Sharma. It reflects in his captaincy. He believes in being diligent, in doing his homework to the T. He believes in being tactical, in being strategic. He has that big brother nature about him as well, when you see how he interacts with the rest in his team and how he indulges them as well once in a while. For example, it could be a decision review that Jadeja or Siraj is cajoling him to take, and he good-naturedly humors them even if he probably doesn't believe in that so. But it might sort of remind you a bit about MS Dhoni, but he brings his own sort of spin and character to captaincy and leadership. We've seen it in the Mumbai Indians franchise, and he's been very successful too. He's taken them to 5 IPL wins. That is immense. He brings a lot of those calmness without being dramatic or the drama associated with it. And there are instances where it's his game awareness that's been the result of India performing at the plane that it is in, at another level completely in this tournament. He encourages the bowlers. He gives them confidence, especially when they're having a rough day. Now, I'll give you a few instances, especially from this World Cup. We'll talk about one first. India versus Pakistan in Ahmedabad. The men in green are off to a decent start, 150 for 2. Babar Azam has just scored his 50 and Mohammad Rizwan is looking good in his company too. What does Rohit Sharma do? He brings back Mohammad Siraj who was leaking runs till that point, and you see him dismissing Babar Azam. What did that do? That was critical, because right after that you saw the entire Pakistan lineup fold for 191. It was crucial, that bowling change. And we saw another example of it in Eden Gardens against South Africa, against that famed batting lineup. It was the same match which I witnessed where Virat Kohli scored his 49th ODI ton, and you of course had India scoring 326. In response, we know the track had something in it, had quite a bit in it for spinners. What does Rohit do? He brings in Jadeja in the power play overs, and you immediately had a result there. Within the third delivery, Jadeja struck, and that triggered yet another collapse. And we've seen that killer instinct in Rohit Sharma throughout this tournament. That's the perfect mix, his laid-back nature, but with that instinct to close games, to create changes, to make impactful decisions tactically on the field. Whether it's in fielding positions, whether it's in bowling changes, or just giving those bowlers that extra bit of motivation. That's what has been a hallmark of his captaincy in this tournament.
Make no mistake, Rohit is also very aggressive. I think sometimes we tend to, look at people's body language and we can't get enough of their mindset. Rohit is as aggressive as any captain you would want. He's aggressive with his bowling moves. If you see the other day when Siraj was bowling, what fields he had. I mean, that shows the kind of aggression he's got.
Now, you can't speak about Mumbai and cricket and not talk about the Maidans. That's what forms the heart of cricket here in Mumbai. I've got about 5 matches going on behind me, and it's all happening in one massive ground. All these young boys dressed in whites, and to an onlooker, it can be a little confusing there because you don't know which players are involved in which game, because you've got 4 or 5 happening there behind me. There's one that's on a break, probably an innings break at this point. And if you blink, you might just get hit as well. You've got to be a little careful, but jokes apart, this is the breeding ground. This is where all young lads come in with a passion for the sport. And it's resulted in some legends coming through right from these Maidans, like a Sachin Tendulkar. If you look at the current Indian team, someone like Rohit Sharma, Shreyas Iyer, Shardul Thakur, Surya Kumar Yadav, all possibly spent their times at the Maidans here in the city. This is where unbridled passion comes with the lack of infrastructure, and that's the starting point. And if you have passion coupled with talent, skill, intent, aggression, you have a product like Rohit Sharma. Now, someone like him always was known for those big hundreds, those big individual scores. He's made most of the double hundreds for India on the international circuit. And there's a reason for that. We saw how he performed in the 2019 World Cup. He had 5 centuries there. You know that because that was his approach, that was his intent, to make big knocks, to make big contributions. But this World Cup, there's been a different approach. You know that the partnership, the opening partnership with Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill has been spot on. They have been aggressive from the get-go. And the indication for that, Rohit Sharma's power play strike rate in this particular World Cup is much more at 130 compared to his ODI strike rate overall as well. That tells you a story, because his approach as well has been different this time around. Why? An absence of someone like a Rishabh Pant low down the order to give that big firepower towards the end. And even later on, someone like a Hardik Pandya, who was absent, has made Rohit Sharma take on that attacking instinct, take on that role of an attacker. And that has resulted in a lot of selfless batting, which has only helped the Indian batting lineup. We'll give you a few instances. Number 1, India against England. It was a very tricky pitch to bat on. India was struggling at 40 for 3. The attacker that Rohit Sharma has been in this tournament took a bit of a backseat there, steadied the ship, played the senior hand to then get India to a respectable total, which they successfully ended up defending to. But then you cut to a match like India against Bangladesh or India against South Africa, where it was a quick-fire cameo at the top of 40 plus. But that was important, because what Rohit did was just unsettle the most key bowlers in that opposition lineup with that fiery performance at the top. So he's not going for those big hundreds. He's not going for those record-breaking performances. He's looking at giving that aggressive instinct, that aggressive start at the top to completely unsettle the opposition right from the get-go. That's been his approach, and what a selfless approach it's been. A different avatar that we have seen Rohit Sharma in. We spoke about Rohit, the mature captain, just some time back. This is the mature batter that we see of Rohit in this particular tournament, and that's really spoken volumes. It's helped the other batters play to their roles, perform the roles given to them. He's taken the onus of going on the offensive so that the rest can play freely, steady the ship, and try and settle their nerves and get to steady the innings and anchor the innings for India. That's what we've seen. And come this semi-final, India versus New Zealand, you can expect the entire crowd to back their captain, their homeboy, for such an equally important performance in a semi-final as well. The one aspect that's so key for a cricket match or any really sporting encounter are the fans. That's what makes any sport so much more richer. We've been chronicling super fans, those group of people who really go that extra mile to cheer for their team or support their favorite cricketers at this World Cup here in India. And Mumbai too had its own share of super fans.
My name is Damir. I'm an official 12th man team India. I'm following Indian cricket team since 2006 until now.
Yes, I've seen you everywhere. We know each other pretty well.
Yeah.
Tell us where this passion for the game comes from.
Since childhood, I'm playing with the normal guys in cricket. My hometown, it's my place in Piparsa, near Morena district. There, I will play with the normal people like at this ground, the school ground. There's lots of people abusing me, and lots of told me this thing कि यार ये पैर से नहीं चल पाता कैसे क्रिकेट खेल पाएगा. That's the things has happened me. That's after that I'm going to Delhi. I'm working over there one restaurant. Then I'm come back to my home. I read the newspaper. India will play in Mohali, but I don't know where is a Mohali in India or Pakistan. I don't know that time. That's 2006. I don't know that time right now where is a Mohali. So somebody's told me Mohali in Chandigarh. So I catch the train from the old Delhi. That somebody's helped me from there, and God give me the 10 rupees and food also. So I'll be reaching Mohali before 3 days.
Wow. You know, the Indian team knows you.
Yeah.
Everyone knows you very well.
Yeah.
Tell us some very interesting anecdotes, memories that you've shared, conversations that you've shared with a lot of the Indian cricket team members.
Lots of conversations with the Indian cricket team. I'm doing with the net session and bowling and fielding. And whenever the Indian team go the net practice over there, then whenever they did their catch practice on slip and point, they will be. So I'll be standing behind him, then catch the ball, then getting throw. Then lots of people, Indian team player. You have the strong arms, you have the good throw. So that's a love from him. They all support me, they all caring me. Then also I'm continuing for my journey.
Do you have any favorites?
Not individually. I'm following the Indian cricket team, so I will be supporting Indian cricket team till my last breath.
Do you have any interesting sort of memories of a particular performance or a particular cricketer that you can recall? Something that sort of will stay with you forever?
Virat Kohli did against Pakistan in 2020 World Cup. That's outstanding, amazing. I haven't never seen like that. Was the inning. I need the same innings tomorrow because we also playing there in semi-final against New Zealand Black Caps. So maybe we don't want anything. I want only win for India in here in semi-final. So we just want to see in Indian final.
What makes you a super fan? If I have to ask you why are you a super fan, what makes you a super fan?
Because of we are physically challenged. We are traveling around of the world with our wheelchair. Lots of problems happen with the traveling. You know, I'm single person with the travel everywhere. Lots of person who can help us, who cannot help us that time. But unfortunately, if you following since 15 years Indian cricket, so become the super fan.
Any one World Cup memory that you find dear to you?
2011. That's a huge one for us. After 28 years, we will win the World Cup. We lifted trophy here is iconic stadium at Wankhede. Hopefully, it will be.
Now we've come to the end of the show, but we always have a little something that we call the last serve to give you, which is our bit of a parting shot for us here on Firstpost. Today on Last Serve, we get you a very special wish for the Indian cricket team. We don't know which country that's not part of this Cricket World Cup is supporting Team India, but this international footballer is surely supporting the men in blue, and particularly Virat Kohli. Listen in.
Thank you, Team India, for the shirt, and good luck at the World Cup. Thank you.
That about does it here on a very, very special edition of First Sports, coming to you from the heart of the city here in Mumbai, ahead of that exciting India versus New Zealand semi-final. Be sure to always catch all the action that we get you. We're always bringing you the buzz, the insights, the analysis, all the sights and sounds that's surrounding the Cricket World Cup at the Cup of Dreams edition. But for now though, thanks so much for joining in. We hope you enjoyed this broadcast as much as we did bringing it to you. Take care. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.